Now we're going to move to my prospective guest, and my guest on the programme today comes from a family of musical royalty. He's the son of Femi Kuti, grandson of the pioneer of Afrobeat, Fela Kuti. He's now striding out on his own, bringing Afrobeat to a whole new generation of fans. Mádé Kuti then redefining Afrobeat, if you like, whilst at the same time honouring the genre's political, musical and cultural roots. Tonight, he is in concert here in Paris at La Maroquinière, and ahead of that, he joins us now. He's also got a new album coming out. We'll talk about that shortly as well. But first of all, let's just have a bit of a listen to one of his concerts. Wow, the energy is incredible, isn't it? I mean, welcome to the programme. Great to have you with us there. I mean, we saw you playing the trumpet there. I've seen another clip, you're playing a saxophone. I know you sing as well. I mean, it's a whole range of things that you bring to this, isn't it?
Yes, I'm lucky to have had the experience to have, developed my musicianship around my dad and his band. So I picked up multiple instruments while I was with him. I play the sax, the piano, the trumpet, the drums, the bass. Sort of a jack of all trades, not quite a full master of any, but I work on all of them. Yeah.
And what was it like growing up in that environment? I mean, as we said, the real greats of African music, your grandfather, the inventor even of Afrobeat.
Yeah, it was. To me at the time when I was growing up in that environment, it was normal, and it didn't really register until slightly later that going on tour and heading to recording studios at 5 to 8 years old was, quite an experience for me. And
you thought everybody did that?
I thought everybody did that, And when I was in high school and he grounded me to make sure that I finished my education, then I realized just how special my earlier years were, And it was wonderful. It meant I could be exposed to cultures so different from Nigeria at the time, and I could see the lifestyle of musicians and what it really took professionally to maintain a musical lifestyle. And touring is not for the weak, really. It's a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of travel, a lot of going to towns, and you never really see anything except the stage and the hotels. And
yeah.
I somehow decided that was the life I wanted to live as well.
Because you even played with your father, obviously, but Hollywood Bowl, Glastonbury, by the age of 10. I mean, how on earth, when you've done that at the age of 10, how do you follow it? How do you keep that passion and enthusiasm going?
Well, you have to first find the sort of humility to understand that exposure that I had was really the opportunity granted to me by my father, and sort of building my own career would take its own, path and work. And I just always believed that with the right amount of work ethic and passion, I'd be able to revisit those spaces again, but on my own terms, with my own band and slightly different music as well. So it was, I think, one of the best places I've played still is the New Africa Shrine in Lagos, for example. So the first time I headlined with my own band was a very special day because I played there my entire life with my father. And yeah, I hope that all the places that I've been, I played recently in Berlin, and I realized that, I played here with my dad many years ago.
Okay.
And it was Fela's birthday, my grandfather's birthday. It was a really special event, and it was nice.
And how have you redefined it? I mean, you said that you've changed it a little bit.
Yeah, the music I consumed when I was younger, I guess I was really into like Japanese rock. I studied classical music. I studied at the Trinity Laban Conservatoire. There are like several ways to pronounce that thing in London. And I did 4 years of composition there in the bachelor's, the BMUS. And I really just consumed a lot of classical music, avant-garde music. And I also was incredibly into jazz in my teens. So I picked up a lot of different things that I think were quite modern at the time. And I apply that consciously and subconsciously into my compositional process. And as long as I feel like I do things naturally, that is what is inclined to me in terms of taste and technique, I find that the music just finds its own way to be different on its own. Yeah.
Because presumably, on the one hand, you want to put your own stamp on it, but on the other hand, you don't want to stamp all over the heritage of the music within the family and annoy people who love the
I'm
past.
not sort of trying to challenge it or divert away from its roots. I'm more experimenting with more possibilities of what it could be. Yeah.
Well, you've also got a new album coming out. The first album, Forward, was a huge hit. Then had a joint album with your father, which earned you a Grammy nomination. Talk about the second solo album now. It's called Chapter 1. Where does happiness come from? What are you aiming for with it?
The first album, Forward and Stop the Hates, were two separate albums that we now join together as one album. So the first album this is my second album now. So Chapter 1, Where Does Happiness Come From, is an introspective album about what I feel is the most important way for the Nigerian to reflect on his and her circumstances. Today is actually the 20th of October. This is the anniversary to the Lekki Tollgate massacre that happened 5 years ago, where the people were protesting against police brutality, and in response, they were brutalized by the government. Until today, there's still no acceptance of responsibility as to who carried out that order or who is responsible for the deaths and the shooting. And 5 years later, we're still in the same sort of predicament that we were before. And you could say politically, Nigeria is facing incredible issues. We're facing corruption, we're facing instability, healthcare, education. All these areas are still failing. And I just find that for a people, like Nigerians are extremely talented people. It doesn't really matter the field. We tend to be exceptional when we leave the country. We have Nigerian professors, doctors, engineers, lawyers, highly successful outside the town. But whenever it comes to collective action, especially in the country, in public services, we fail miserably.
Yeah.
And so that album is sort of asking why we don't sort of reflect on ourselves to be more accountable for our own community and our own environment, and what we can do as individuals to make the world a better place. It's not quite the challenge the government kind of direction that has happened previously in Afrobeat. It's more of what can each person do to make it, a better place.
I mean, your grandfather fought a lot, didn't he, against Nigeria's military juntas
He did,
years and years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, is politics very much something that's flowed through the family as well? I mean, you've got the two main themes, the politics and the musical side as well.
Absolutely, and he was incarcerated a lot for it as well, alongside my father as well. I think he's actually the most incarcerated musician in history, and he was beaten, and every time he came out of prison, and every time he faced some sort of pushback for the kinds of progress he was fighting for, he would write new music that was even more, more ingenious and with a fresh perspective of how he was challenging authority at the time. And he lived a very fearless life, and I take a lot of inspiration from that. Himself and my father and my uncle. It's a rich heritage of music.
It certainly is it's a family business, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, good to see you following it on. Thanks very much for coming in and talking
My
to
pleasure.
us today. Mádé Kuti, then, redefining Afrobeat. The concert tonight at the Maroquinerie. I can't say that either. It's really hard to say.
I try as well.
And the new album, Where Does Happiness Come From, Chapter 1.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for
Thank you
coming
very
in and
much for
talking to us
having me.
once again here on France 24.